Welcome to Golf in the Cosmos, where physics meets the fairway and the universe takes a swing at your mind. I'm here in absolute beauty on the island of Maui, west side of Maui. This is where the famous Kapalua Plantation course is, where the PGA event got canceled this year. So I want to dig into that a little bit. First off, I was able to play Kaanapali, the Kaanapali Kai course. It was beautiful out there. Truly, you can't beat this stuff in the winter. You see why the PGA comes out here, every January. You can't beat this weather. Just out here on the west side of Maui, it's unbelievable beauty. Again, swimming with turtles, playing golf. I mean, you can only, dream up some of this stuff here. So it is a shame that the PGA had to cancel that event. And we'll dig in a little bit onto why that ended up happening. I want to first touch on the beautiful people that I met here. I was able to get a ride in a golf cart out to the course, and the gentleman who gave me a ride, he said, right when I get off work, I'm hitting the links. So that was a beautiful thing, all these new people getting into the game. It's such a beautiful game, right? He was stoked on getting out there, hitting the links. The couple I played with, he didn't start the game till 2021. Great couple from Iowa. Him and his girlfriend, I believe. Beautiful to play with them. I made sure to tell them, you can hit from these forward tees. I'm going to play from the backs, because I got my own thing going on in my head. But I think that was important that we didn't need to play from the same tees. That's part of the game. That's why they exist. That's something I wanted to, help them understand. But they started the game, getting into the game in 2021. It really got me thinking about the growth of this game. We all know that it's not a surprise. After COVID, a ton of people started playing this game. You should know it's harder to get a tee time. I thought it was just a Southern California thing, because there's a lot of people there. I thought that was just hard to get a tee time there. You have to book 7 days in advance. I mean, in LA County, good luck. It's been well documented, the bots, that went through LA and the selling tee times on the black market, essentially. So that's been well documented in some court cases. So it makes you wonder, is that happening in other places? Is there just more people that want to play golf and want to get a tee time? Certainly it is a combination of both. Both things are happening. But golf has a 38% increase since 2019. Over 10% more rounds played annually. I mean, these are real concrete numbers that sports don't jump like this typically, right? And it's showing like long-term growth, right? The sales, golf equipment and apparel up 30% since 2019. Female golfers up 41%. New golfers, beginners, 32%. Roughly 3.3 million annually. So I mean, there is a lot of new people out on the course that maybe haven't played the game as long as some of us out there. So I think it's important to understand. We get a lot of haters on some of the comments. On some of the reels that are being seen around the world, saying these things are obvious. Are they? If you just started the game a couple years ago, how obvious is this stuff really? I mean, you don't, right? I feel like we need to take a step back and realize that there's some kind of secrets in this game that are passed down, if you will. I mean, it got me thinking about, I don't know if nepotism's the right word, but essentially the secrets of this game that are passed down. It's such a complex game. It's right? It's one of the longer games. There's a lot to think about. Justin Thomas, his dad was a longtime PGA professional at Harmony Landing Country Club in Kentucky. His grandfather was also a PGA professional. There was some golf secrets passed down in that family that helps him. Dustin Johnson, grandfather, was a club pro and South Carolina Hall of Fame. Jordan Spieth, parents were athletes, not golf pros. So, I think it's worth mentioning. Keegan Bradley, his aunt was an LPGA Hall of Famer. So she had some secrets, how to get out of the bunker, etc. Some little secrets. Patrick Cantlay's dad, competitive golfer. He was not a club pro, but he was a competitive golfer. Brant Snedeker, this one's interesting. His mom worked as a city golf superintendent in Nashville. Grandmother managed local golf courses. So a very heavy golf family. And then you have the names, Davis Love the third, Davis Love Jr., his father, right, legendary PGA player. Webb Simpson, his dad was a competitive amateur. And then Nick Dunlap, his dad's a former club pro in Alabama. So the list goes on. The point I'm getting at is how much knowledge can be passed down in this game, how much kind of secrets there are. So things that might seem super obvious to one could be that breath of fresh air that maybe a beginner needs to know. But again, I was thinking about, how long golf takes. Some other long sports have typically been, cricket. That's known to be it can go on for multiple days. The U.S. Open used to be a 36-hole playoff, so you could tie. You could tie after 72. And then there was a year that they did a 36-hole playoff. They tied in that as well. And then they played 36 more, and then someone won by one. This was Billy Burke versus George Von Elm. 1931 U.S. Open. Billy Burke beat George Von Elm in a marathon 72-hole playoff, the longest ever in history, with a 36-hole playoff round needed after the initial 36-hole tie. So similar to tennis used to go on. It could go on forever like that as well. It would be interesting to see a sudden death go for 72 holes these days, but they kind of, the second you turn on that sudden death, it starts to dwindle down that time. MLB baseball, putting a guy on second base during regular season games, right? All these things kind of lower the time a game takes. But anyway, that was just something I was thinking about, how golf truly is kind of a long endeavor trying to get through 18 holes. So I believe all these sports require, some extra mental focus, especially when you get into kind of that overtime. And that's kind of where maybe some champions can come out when they're really tested in that sense. So let's get into beautiful Maui. I was able to drive by Kapalua. I saw it. They are letting golfers out now. I don't know if you'd seen some pictures, but it was turning brown essentially. There was some water issues, and I wanted to try to get the full story. They're still charging about $470 to play. Mixed reviews I was reading. When I looked at it, it looked more green. Like it looked like it was starting to get the water situation figured out. But regardless, what's going on, right? We all know there was a devastating fire in Lahaina about a year and a half ago. I do believe that has something to do with these water rights issues that are happening just up the coast a little bit. The problem is, there's a severe drought going on in West Maui. The Kapalua Plantation course, the grass turned brown because of insufficient irrigation water. The lack of water forced temporary closure of the course and the relocation of the PGA tournament. They actually didn't even relocate; they just canceled it, resulting in an estimated $50 million economic loss for the area. So that's a big one. $50 million estimated loss. That affects everyone, right? That affects the whole island. Many different stakeholders. The accusation. So this is a court case that's ongoing. But TY Management Corp, they own the course. They sued the Maui Land and Pineapple Company. MLP operates the water system, alleging that MLP failed to properly maintain the century-old ditch system that delivers surface water from the mountains for irrigation. They countersued. The Maui Land and Pineapple countersued, claiming that the water shortage is primarily due to the drought and that TY Management overconsumed water, in some cases using water reserved for fire protection. So that's the accusation. MLP also stated that TY had the opportunity to develop its own water source years ago, but failed to do so. There's also the potable water controversy. A significant point of contention is the alleged use of millions of gallons of drinkable groundwater for irrigation. A nonprofit got involved, Earth Justice. They're an environmental law group, I should say, has called for a halt to this practice, arguing that it is unlawful to use precious drinking water for golf courses while residents face strict mandatory water restrictions. The Water Commission chair has been criticized for allowing this use without proper legal basis or permits. So there's some underlying tones of, the golf course used water that maybe should have been used during fires, to put out fires, to be kind of extra backup water. So certainly, that devastating tragedy is causing some issues here that affect, and a lot of the sports writers are, point out, this is watching Kapalua, looking at those views is sometimes one of the most looked forward to events, while people, in Wisconsin are sitting in the snow, turning on their TV and they get to see beautiful, shots of Maui. Sometimes that's what people need, at least golf fans need around the world. And we're not going to get that this year. The first event will be the week after on Oahu. The worry is that a lot of the big names that come out to the Sentry, right, that's essentially now it's top 50 in the world are eligible. They would stick around and just island hop and go to the next tournament. The worry is that they just won't come out to Hawaii at all this year. So there is some, it's an unfortunate year. We're hoping that it gets all figured out. I mean, I'm here. I saw it. It looks like it's growing back. I would think it would be ready by next year. Not sure what's going to happen with the court case and everything, but I think they will figure it out. Apparently, the company Sentry has a long-term agreement with Maui. They're kind of in partnership, hand in hand. But again, anything could change. But that's been an ongoing tournament for the last over 20 years. It's been a great event. So I want to touch also on. There's been some chatter about Scottie Scheffler and his Ryder Cup appearances. Just to set the record straight, he's 3-6-3 over 3 appearances, but he has the lowest scoring average on tour. And I think it makes sense, right, that these kind of match play events bring out a different type of player. A different type of player can succeed in those. Just because you're number one in the world doesn't mean you're really good at match play, right? Being number one in the world involves playing 4 rounds in a row, having the lowest scoring average. So, I know it's a long time, but we do wonder, how is the U.S. going to win a Ryder Cup moving forward? Lots of questions. Who's going to be the captain? I know a lot of people want to see Tiger step up to that. But again, we'll see. Just food for thought. Lowest scoring average ever is Tiger Woods, 67.79, achieved in both 2000 and 2007, a record that stands as the only time a player has averaged under 68 for a season. Scheffler was 68.63 in 2023. But Woods' peak remains unmatched, with his 2000 season also featuring the largest margin, 1.18 shots over the second best player. So I guess that would be the average margin, right? Wow. So again, we we do wonder what's at stake in the next couple of years. I mean, we will have the Olympics coming up with golf. The Americans have done pretty well in that, with Scheffler winning that, and I believe Schauffele. Justin Rose as well. And Xander, yep, that's right. So that will be fun to watch that again. Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, and Justin Rose are the recent Olympic golf champions. But again, the Ryder Cup, you can't beat that format, right? That team format. So again, just want to appreciate the game. I think traveling and then playing the game of golf really helps you appreciate the game even more. Meeting people from other places who are playing the game, and just interacting with even just different type of weather, right? Different grasses, different environments. This game is so, international in a sense. Any type of climates can play this game. All cultures, essentially. The growth of the game. That's really the theme for me right now, is just appreciating the growth of this game and not trying to get so mad that I can't get a tee time, but actually sitting back and appreciating the growth and all the new people playing and really embracing what the game gives back to us. So from Maui, golfinthecosmos.com, check it out. We have some new merch on there. That's the best way to support the mission. Get your mission patch, hat and shirts, etc., golf balls. I'd love to see it out there on the course. Some Cosmos apparel. Thank you all for tuning in. And from beautiful Maui, I'll see you next time. Peace.